Everyone, some quick thoughts today on the Atlas Tibia machine. What the hell is a tibia machine? Well, back of your lower leg is your calf, front of your lower leg is your tibia, to keep it really simple. So tibia machine would then work the front portion of the bottom part of your leg. So why would you use one of these? Well, for me, I grabbed one for a couple of reasons. One, I like to do calf work, and so I like to make sure that I'm kind of evening things out. So if I'm hitting my calves, I like to also make sure I hit the tibia to give a nice balance. I also like the look, the kind of three-dimensional look of having some well-developed tibia muscles. It's not anything that's going to win you a contest or anything crazy like that. I just think it's cool. Let's see. I've also always had really tight calves, tight Achilles tendons, so much so that I had shin splints for a long time. I used to walk on my toes. So one of the goals with using this was that it would kind of strengthen the muscles that pull that foot up and then support more of that motion instead of me always being down with my toe. So let's get into the machine itself, and then I'll tell you whether that kind of helped or not. So this is from Atlas Tibia machine. I bought it off Amazon. I think there's only honestly like 2 companies who make one of these anymore. It's them and Hammer Strength. So a fully commercial option. Very expensive if you go that route for something pretty small. This one's, I don't know, 100 something bucks, sometimes goes on sale, I think. So this is the route to go if this is something you want to add to your arsenal, and that's if you are a gym owner or you happen to find one of the Hammer Strength ones used. I thought, because of the cost and everything, that this was going to be pretty cheap. I was okay with that. I wasn't too happy, but in reality, it's actually really nice. It's very heavy, so it's pretty solid. Metal all the way through. Nice pillow block bearings. Powder coat is nice and clean. Everything's good. So the couple of negatives here. One, the end caps on the ends are these plastic guys. It gives it a nice kind of finished look, but they do come off kind of relatively easy. Probably glue those down at some point. The pillow block bearings, when it came to me, were green, like mint green, which looks exceptionally weird on a full black body. So I just hand painted them. It's fine now. You probably would have no idea that it was ever different. It's just kind of weird and maybe kind of annoying to have to paint a brand new product. The grip tape that they give you here was pretty much garbage. The powder coat is nice and smooth, so trying to stick adhesive to it doesn't really work. I ended up having to buff the area a little bit with some fine sandpaper and then actually apply some Gorilla Glue underneath the adhesive and then clamp it all down. Since then, it's been fine. It's on there. It's not the cleanest job ever, but it works. The pad is nice and dense, which is good. That makes sure that you actually use your tibia instead of just kind of pressing down with your heel, which is good. The rubber pieces that support as it goes back are pretty solid. This side got a little chewed up. I think the rubber's actually a little too wide for it, and so this piece here kind of started to eat at it. After it took it apart, it is fine now. It doesn't really look, it doesn't look great, but it could be worse. The rest of it's great though. So like I said, almost all metal, a couple of plastic end caps and stuff, some rubber feet. Pretty heavy duty. It moves nice and smooth. It can store on my wall, which is great, so it takes up practically no space. It is a one movement machine, which is something I typically do not condone in a garage gym space. but for such a targeted area and for something that I specifically wanted to address, it was worth it. It was worth the investment, it's worth the wall space, it's worth the taking it down, using it, the whole deal. Did it do what I wanted it to do? Probably a little bit. So it definitely built the tibia, which is nice. So that area is much more developed on me than it ever used to be. Did it solve kind of my ankle issues? I don't think so. I think that's just something I will probably always live with, which is okay. I know how to work around it. But this wasn't like the missing link in the ankle mobility drive for me. So all around, it's the cheapest of the two options on the market. You get a solid piece that again can take up little space if you can hang it on your wall. It will accept 25-pound plates, which means you can probably load up close to 200 pounds on this guy. I've done 100 and that's way more than enough. Unless if you are like the tibia champion of the world, you probably don't need to go much higher. You could probably jerry-rig some bands onto it if you wanted to, but not a big deal. All around, good unit, good price, easy shipping, well made, the whole thing. So if this is something you're looking to add to your gym, this is a great approach to take.